Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and today we're going to be talking about my March whips, my projects, my fails. I had some fails, so stay tuned because we're going to get real here. Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Kimberly and this is Knit for Brains. I'm really glad that you're here. And if you're one of our new subscribers, and we have a lot of them, I am so glad that you're here. Little insight into me. This is my cup of pug. If you guys can see the whole thing. Cup a pug. It is, actually it's just coffee here today. Cup of Pug is this place. It's the first and only currently in the United States. It is a cafe where you can go and hang out and play with pugs. It's amazing, and it's here in my hometown of San Diego. They are opening up new locations. They're opening up one, I think, in Las Vegas, and they're opening one, I think, in Texas. And there's two in England. So the Brit and I are going to be going to the motherland this summer, and I anticipate going to visit the Cup of Pug. Anyways, I volunteer there, and they're super sweet. I am a pug wrangler, so they play the song "Who Let the Pugs Out," and yes, they did get licensing for it. And I have about 15 to 20 pugs that I manage, and they all come running out, and you know, I get to help people take pictures. It's kind of the coolest thing ever. And they're always giving me really fun stuff. So they gave me this really fun pug. These are the London pugs. These are all actually the London pugs. Ooh, my lipstick was on there. Ah, sorry. And I think they're all the London pugs on here. Anyways, so this is my way of, this is my girl Molly back there. And I lost her like 2 years ago. So the Brit says, you can work there, you can volunteer there, as long as you can't bring any pugs home. These particular pugs are all individually owned. We are going to start bringing in the rescue pugs. But he said if there's any pugs that are available for adoption, you can't have them. But it's great because I get to go, I get my pug love in, I get my pug fix, I get to help people enjoy the love that is pug. And then I go home. I don't have to pay any vet bills. I don't have to walk them or pick up their pee and their poop, which I do when I'm working there. And I don't, and I don't have to worry about the shedding. I get to go and love on them, and I get to go home. So it's kind of the perfect thing. But if you're ever in San Diego or coming up with Las Vegas or Texas, you got to check it out. I'll include a link if you're interested. Anyway, so this is my Cup of Pug mug. All right, so let's talk about March. Had all these grandiose plans. You know my plans. No buy in 2025. Well, I blew that one. However, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I said I wasn't going to buy any yarn in 2025, but I had a girlfriend, special circumstances, and the majority of you, I do think I won the vote, said, you know what, I'll give you a pass on this one. It was for a special reason. She's having a medical procedure, and she fell in love with this one sweater that I had, and I said, okay, but I didn't have enough yarn to make her the sweater that I had, and so I had to go and buy more yarn to make it. Now, a lot of you were like, okay, I'll give you that, except you ended up buying enough to make 3 sweaters, and you're only going to make her 1. I had to choose the color. I wasn't really sure of the color. So I'm still going to say I got the pass, but I'm going to use up all the yarn that I bought in 2025, so I'm not actually adding to my stash. Plus, I'm going to be using yarn from my stash that's already there, so I am actually going to come in with a deficit. So that was good. Then I had a knitting project that I was doing, which I'm still working on because it takes so long, which I'm going to show you. I had a crochet project. Oh, it almost gave me terminal crojo, which is deadly. Terminal crojo. I was just like, I had no energy, excitement to do anything crochet. I hated this project so much. And I was deep into it. I'm going to show you here. I was deep into this project, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to give it up. But I hated it. I hated the colors coming. And I was so bummed because I was so excited for this project. I bought yarn specifically like in 2023 or 2024 for this project, and I'm really bummed. But it is what it is. Sometimes these things they do happen. These things, they do happen. So I'm not going to frog it out. I'm going to let it sit there. And then when I do find the right project, I'm just going to crochet it out of what's already there. And then I got a couple others. So let's start with my wins for March. I'm still working through the Muppets Amigurumi book. And the Brit said you should do a frog. And of course, March, St. Patrick's Day. So I did him. I love him, but I don't like the eyes. So I'm going to redo the eyes. But Kermit the Frog, right? So I love him. I love all of the Muppets. So you can see the other guys right up there. I've got Beaker and I've got Professor Honeydew. Anyways, I love Kermit very much, all scraps, but I wasn't a big fan on the eyes. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna probably felt the eyes. But anyways, but other than that, if you don't, I mean, he's super cute, way cute. So this was my Kermit the Frog out of my Muppet book. I don't know what he did with the eyes. You can see him here. I wasn't a big fan of my eyes. And I have all the doll eyes, but he didn't use a doll eye with this. Maybe I could use a doll eye. Maybe I could, just a plain black one. Anyways, so that was done. So he was good. We went on a cruise to Hawaii. And so I brought some projects with me. I didn't actually bring him with me. And as it turns out, he only took literally a day. He was one of the fastest ones to do. So I might do Miss Piggy next. I'm not really sure. I might just work through the book. But the goal is to get through the whole entire book before the end of the year, or by the end of the year. And I might do Sam the Eagle. Maybe I'll save him for July. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a theme thing. My absolute favorite is Animal. Animal is my favorite of all times. Here he is. I think I rolled into Fozzie Bear on that one. Anyway, so this is Animal. So I might have to do him next. I just needed a little bit of happy. He looks like he's got a little bit of complicated stuff going on there, I gotta say. How can you not love? Don't you ever feel like you have a day where you're just like, I'm an animal? Animal! Like you're just having a bad day and it just feels better to do an animal. So, yeah, he's got some complication. He might have some complicated stuff going on there. I don't know. Maybe not. So we'll see. You guys will see in April, at the end of April, which one I decide to do. But I do like Kermit. Got to work on the eyes. I'm not crazy about the eyes. But other than that, remember how we used to do that? Remember he'd get all excited? Okay, I digress. I can hear the Brit next door. He's laughing at me. I can hear him through the wall. He thinks I'm a little kooky. All right, so I'm going to call that a success. Another thing I've been working through. Okay, well, first of all, before I get into all of my whips, I found the coolest website for t-shirts. And I know you guys really can't see a lot of them because I'm sitting down, but check this out. Knit Long and Prosper. Now, if you don't know anything, isn't that cool? The Brit, I have to say, is a huge Star Trek fan. More the old Star Trek. So when I saw this, I was like, dude, I have to get this thing. Is this not the coolest thing ever? I love it. And me personally, I'm an octopus fan. So I found this t-shirt as well. And I was like, yes, I love that. They had so many choices, so many cute things. Now these are both knitted, or they're knitting, but they also had crochet. And the cool thing is the t-shirts are really, really soft. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know what that's going to feel like. It's super soft and it's thinner. I don't like those real stiff ones, you know, the real thick ones. This is actually, the company of t-shirt is called Canvas, Bella Canvas. But they're really nice. They're good quality, double stitching. And this is just sort of like an iron-on transfer on here, but it's a nice shirt. It's a good quality shirt. So if you're looking for a present for that perfect, you know, like that perfect person, you're like, you're not going to see this anywhere, I recommend these guys. Plus, after I placed the order, after I placed the order, they sent me a pattern for crocheted alphabet, like the whole entire alphabet. They're adorable with little eyes and stuff on them. They're kind of like an Amigurumi alphabet. Adorable. And then just the other day, they sent me another free pattern for a sweater that had the Muppets. It's as if they're like in my brain. And I was like, seriously? And they're really cute. And I think the patterns are really well. So I'll include the link if you guys are interested. The company is called Vogue. I think it is. And they just popped up, I don't know, on my feed somewhere. And I'm probably going to end up getting more shirts from them. They're really cute and really, really good quality. And they had them all different sizes, very fast shipping. At first I was like, I don't know, where are these things coming from? But they come out of Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, I think it is even. Okay, so I had to show you that because I'm loving it. And the Brit even, he laughs at this. See? Knit long and prosper. Okay. Next, so I have to say, the goal was to get through some yarn, right? And I said I had to knit something, crochet something, and then do something else and something other, which Kermit kind of qualifies for that. But a couple other things that I did. So a very good friend of mine now, we've met through the internet, through YouTube actually, is Chris Acton. She has a platform called Acton Creative, and she does weaving. And I completed her Dress Your Loom course because I thought, you know what, I got this big loom here. I got 2 other small looms. I'm getting into looms, and I need to know how to use them and love on them because right now I'm not in the love stage. I was in the, oh my gosh, you scare the heck out of me stage. So I took her Dress the Loom class. It was a game changer. So let me show you what I did. Now this is, it's called a samplet, right? So we just did a bunch of different stitches. So it's not anything in particular, but I learned so much. So I made this, and then you're supposed to add in different, you know, at the end she's like, add in different colors and draw different textures. And so I learned like a zigzag. I brought in different colors with different textures, different weights to them. This was a yarn I started with. It was a cotton. I think it was an 8/4 cotton or something like that. And I chose these colors, the aqua, the brown, and the cream. And then just to kind of see how they all go together. And then she said, you know, throw in some colors. So I just grabbed this stuff. And this was like a teal chenille. And then this was like a purple chenille. And then I went up into this kind of aqua. So I just started having fun and grabbing a bunch of colors and learning different stitches. Let me see if I can show you something else. So like this was a, you know, different, like 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on, I did it on my 4-shaft loom. But taking it from the, if you guys can see this right here, this is my warping board where you actually put the yarn on and you warp it on and then you move it over to your loom. So I used a 4-shaft loom. So basically you hit these pedals and they go up and down and up and down and up and down depending on which shaft you're using. So that's what I did with this, and depending on which shaft came up, changed the pattern. So let me see if I can show you. So for instance, you can see here, it's got this really cool, like a zigzaggy pattern. And yes, there's some little errors in it. You know, I lost towards the end, the yarns, they get kind of tight and they kind of change the tension, and that changed the stitch. But you can see how there's like this cool zigzag. So we learned that. And then we learned just a regular, I think they call it a basic twill. But it was a fascinating course. She's an amazing instructor. Here you can see how it totally, just changing which heddles come up and down, changed this. Now this was actually the same yarn. This part here is the same as this part here. Exactly the same. The only difference is which heddle I had come up at which time. That's the only difference. So you're just like, whoa, that is so cool. It was kind of like magic. And I was really excited. This, like I said, is nothing. It's just a sample, but I can keep it and go, okay, so this stitch is going to look like this. This yarn is going to look like this. And you learn how different, you know, different colors go against. It was just amazing to me. Like this was one of my favorites as I saw this one coming through. And that was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So basically you just go forward and backwards and forward and backwards. Got this really cool zigzag look. It's a magic. So I'm officially in love with, I'm going to say we're getting into a serious relationship. I think we're getting into a committed relationship. And I got this thing here. I was very excited that I got this certificate. It's going on my wall. It's going in a picture frame and it's going on my wall. Dress Your Loom course. So if you're interested at all in weaving or you happen to have a loom, highly recommend Chris's course. She does the 4-shaft or the shaft looms, right? The ones that go up and down. I also have a chat loom, which is a rigid heddle loom, which I'm going to start doing some more videos on that. because I got it. Now that's a little bit different in the sense that you just take the one shaft and you just move it up, or heddle rather, and you move it up and down and up and down and up and down. So it doesn't have, but it has a lot of versatility that you can do this. I just haven't got into that yet, but I'm getting into the serious relationship stages with these looms. I even got a little pin loom, the zoom loom. So once I figure that out, I'm going to do a different tutorial on that one because that's cool also. I'll show you that maybe sometime this month. But I had this really cool yarn. Here's some pictures here of how it started. It was just a cake and it had all the colors in it. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I want to see what it looks like. So I used it for the weft and for the warp. And then I used it across for the weft. Just did some really cool stuff. So I made, this was on my 20-inch wide. So it's 20 inches wide, shat rigid heddle loom. So I'm going to do another video on that one. But this here I made, and it's just, it's maybe like a table runner. Actually, you know what happened? Mumsy fell in love with it. She's like, oh my gosh, I love that. And I was like, okay, it's yours. So I had to borrow it back from her. I don't know what she's going to use it for. It could cover like a table. But it was, this yarn was so old, it was in my stash. I just grabbed it. So I didn't even have a band on it. So I think it's 100% cotton, but I'm not sure. And until I know for sure what I'm dealing with, I don't want to make like, you know, dish towels or placemats or napkins or anything, because I don't know if it's 100% cotton or not. But I liked it. So it started out with the blues and the greens down here. And you can see how the graduation of color goes from the dark to the light. And I just literally let the yarn do what it wanted to do. Isn't that cool? I'm just really digging it. So what I did was actually, I didn't even count. This was so simple. The yarn graduated itself. You can see with the colors here. And then you can see on the loom before I started on the warp, how the colors just went across. So I didn't have to do anything. I just wanted to see what would come up. But to take that and then to move it into something that looks like this, and then here on the back side, I loved it. I loved the colors, how they all came together. And you can see here how you got this beautiful light to the dark blues, and then it's got the orange and all that stuff. So I did two, so that counts. I did two of these. I mean, I did this, and then I did this sample thing here. But I love this. I actually think this might be a cotton. I think it might be. So that was on my rigid heddle. So I did those two things. So that was something, right? Then, all right, so then we went on our cruise. We went on our cruise to Hawaii. Loved, loved, loved. And I brought with me a skein of this guy, the Flower Power, because I have a lot of these. And I made myself do one of these a night, one. And it was a 16-day cruise. So in each of these skeins makes 12 squares. This one, actually, I think it made 13. But I brought the one along that looked like this. And it was cool. So each day I'm like, oh, this is on day 3. Day 3 is square. So it was a fun, just mindless thing to do. And by the end, I think these took me about 15, 20 minutes to make. I am loving this. So if you just saw my video on colors and different types of colored yarn and stuff like this, this is a signed pooling yarn, friends. If you've never worked with it, this is a great way just to try to test it out. Also, the all-in-one granny square yarn is also considered an assigned pooling. What that means is that the yarn changes color at very specific places, and if you follow the pattern specifically, you will get your desired result or a specific pattern. In this instance, you're going to get these really cool flowers. So if you've never worked with assigned pooling, it's a great fun thing to do. And it's great with this because if you can do your own assigned pooling where you take the yarn, but then you have to get like measurements and there's a lot of math involved. And my brain doesn't function well with numbers in it. I'm not really a mathy kind of person. But so I did that. And so the colors I'm working on currently, I have a lot of whips here to show you. Colors I'm working on currently are this one here, which is, what is it called? Peony Pop. And this is, and the other one I'm working on is this one, which is, Forget Me Not, this color. And these are coming out really cute. Here, I'll show you. So this is the Forget Me Not here. So I can move that one aside. And this is the Peony Pop, which I'm a huge pink girl. Love them. So I pretty much got all the colors, just about every color in the line. And I'm going to make them all. And at the end of the year, I think I'm going to make like 2 granny square blankets. And what I might do is even double up on them so that it's going to be really nice and thick and just have a bunch of granny squares. So I got these guys plus the orange here. And then I also did all of the hyacinth bouquet ones. So I finished this skein here. I love hyacinth bouquet. So it's just my kind of mindless thing to do. So I did finish 1 skein of this. So that counted towards my, you know, skeins that I used. And again, it made like, it's supposed to do 12, but I think the one of them did a little bit more. So these guys are all going in my big box down here with more, but they're fun. And I just printed out the instructions and I've almost got it memorized. Almost, but then if I haven't done it for a while, then I just have to go through it. But this is what we're looking at. It's by Red Heart. You can get it online. You probably can get it on Amazon. We're not going to go there with the Joann's. Oh my heavens, the Joann's fiasco. It keeps on going. I've done a couple videos on the big twist. Here's all I know about Joann's. Here's what I can tell you, besides what I've already said, is from everything that I've seen, it is not made by Spin Right. It is made probably in Turkey, specifically for Joann's. The Joann's store, people are like, our Joann's are still open. Yes, they are, friend, but let me tell you, they are what we call liquidation stores. So when they go into bankruptcy, and I don't know all the whys and the hows, but I do know, and you can tell because their signs are yellow and black. They're very specific, and it says liquidation. They're not technically owned by Joann's. They have all the Joann's stuff. They might even have Joann's employees. But what they do when a company goes into bankruptcy, they come in, it's a liquidation company, they buy up the inventory so that Joann's is like moving on and done. Now, I don't know if this happens when a store goes into bankruptcy and it's part of the whole thing, but basically they liquidate everything and they sell it to these companies. So if you're walking in a Joann's store right now, yes, it looks like Joann's, it smells like Joann's, the people work for Joann's. It's Joann's products, but it's not actually owned by Joann's stores anymore. Okay, that is my understanding, and that's all we're going to go for. That's all we're going to talk about. Somebody asked, is that a screaming goat in your background? Yes, it is. It's a screaming goat, and it goes like, how does that work? So when something bad happens, you're going to go. I've actually had a lot of screaming goat moments this month. Just gonna, March, not April, March. All right. So let's move on to my fails, my failures, because, you know, I keep it real. I keep it real here. All right. Y'all know I'm in love with this yarn. Upcycle Alpaca Blend. And I'm still in love with the yarn. Still in love with the yarn. And I bought it all to make this. It was called the Leading Lady Duster. Now, I should have known that a duster means it's long. I knew it was long, but I was like, it's going to be so much fun to make. I don't like it. I hate it. And I'm close. I'm actually close. I basically finished the back of it. This one here. Da, 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 da. And then what you do is you just come up and over the shoulder. And I don't know. It's an alpine stitch. And I had some parts where I was alpining when I should have been single crocheting or vice versa. So I've had some like little hiccups in it. All right. I'm just going to show you like here. Here. I don't know, man. I had to put it, I don't know. I just don't like it. And it's a bummer because you can see I've done a lot of work on it. A lot. So I'm just going to go over and let it sit. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. My lines were kind of wonky at times. My rows got a little crooked. And there was a couple parts where the alpine stitch was kind of funky. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. And I was getting like bummed. I had Crojo bad. It was turning into terminal Crojo. I didn't want to do anything. And I was like, don't even. But I put so much work into this thing. So I just decided to put it aside. I don't know if I'm going to finish with this. But what I might do is find something that I really do love with this yarn and make something else. I love the yarn. It's soft. It is from WeCrochet. They are coming out with new colors, more jeweled colors. These were more of your, kind of your foresty. I mean, this one was called Lapis, and then they had a lot of like the chocolate browns, and then these pale colors. I think this was called Latte, and this was like a hazelnut or something like that. Love it. It is a worsted weight, 219 yards in these 100-gram balls, and it's 34% alpaca, 34% wool, and 33% acrylic. So it washes up really well. You can hand wash it. It says hand wash dry flat. It's a weight of a 4. They are coming out with more colors. I do love the yarn. It's not the yarn. It's not the yarn's fault. It was probably my fault. And the pattern. The pattern was actually written well. I'm not even giving the pattern grief. It was me. It's all me. Done for now. All right, so then I'm doing my knitting project. And you know I love knitting. I do. When it's big yarn, big needles, short time. I'm loving this. I really am loving it, so I'm sticking with it. I brought this on the cruise. I did a bunch of it on the cruise. It's just taken a long time. I'm getting there, so I'll show you. So the pattern I'm making, I got this yarn from Purple Lamb Fibers out of Texas. I love Carla. I love what she does. You've seen that I did the Van Gogh's Starry Night. And this is some other of her assigned pooling yarn. And I'm making this thing. It's called the Metamorphosis Shawl. It's going to look like this. So we're using the assigned pooling, and then she's also using her speckled yarn. And I talked about these yarns specifically in my different colored yarn videos. So I loved the assigned pooling. This is called Peacock Feathers. You can totally, this is it crocheted, the single crochet, and then it's got, whenever the color pops up, I do a bobble. But this pattern is a knitted pattern. So here we go. So I'm using her, so this is what it's looking like. It's gorgeous. Actually, this is the top of it. And then it kind of goes in a swing like this. Okay. And then you're alternating this one here is called Monet's Water Lilies. It's beautiful. It's called her Speckled, and they're all sock weight, which is why it's taking me so long, because it's such tiny. Even my mom goes, that yarn is so thin. I'm like, I know, Mama. I know, Mama. This is Peacock Feathers, and then you alternate it with the Speckled. So I'm actually doing, hers was very similar. She didn't use this particular blue. I forgot what it was that she did use, but I'm using her, stained glass sock, Peacock Eyes is the other color that she used. All right, so this is Monet's Water Lilies. It's beautiful. And then with each section, you change it up. So this section here, I did an elongated, double elongated stitch. So it makes basically when you're knitting, you just yarn over twice. So when you go back across, those stitches kind of are really loose, and they basically kind of fall open, if you will. See that? So that gives it a little bit of a differentiation. And then in this section was just regular knit, stocking net. This section here, we had the bobbles. So that gave a different look with the assigned pooling. This one here, she called it a lattice stitch, I believe. So that was kind of interesting and cool. And then this part here was what we called a basket stitch. So each section, I'm enjoying making this project because each section changes up what you're doing, changes up the stitches. But I really want to finish using the yarn. So my goal is I'm going a little off-roading with the pattern in the sense that rather than doing 18 rows or whatever it is that they're asking for, I'm just going to finish up this yarn. And when I finish up this yarn, I will be finished with this section here. Then I'm going to roll into this last ball, this guy here. And I'm going to finish it out with this. And I think there's a border that you make on it. Now the problem is, so I'm going to basically use the rest of this yarn here, this, and then hopefully this in this project, if I can keep my interest. So I have, I think, 5 or 6 whips going on at the current time. And the way that I work through them is I do knit and crochet each day, and I do like an hour and a half on this project or 2 hours and 2 hours on this project, so that they're all kind of moving at the same rate. I I was hoping to use all the skeins that I had on this project, but that's going to make it really big because I do have a full other ball of this peacock feathers. I'm just afraid I'm going to lose it. So what I might do is use the rest of that peacock feathers, and this is crocheted, and then I might either frog this out. I'm not sure if I like it. I might. At which point I'm just going to make it bigger and wider and just make it like maybe a cowl or something. That could be pretty. So if you're watching and you're like, you should do this, you should do that, please comment below and tell me, should I keep this? Whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to end up making it crocheted because this is basically a whole other ball here. And I have this. So I have enough of this to either add to this or frog this out and make something different. So should I frog this out, make something different? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing, it's a single crochet back loop only. And it might be a herringbone actually, now that I'm looking at it. It could be a herringbone. So it's this. And it gives it a nice little give to it. And it is getting differentiation in the bubbles. So do I do this, keep going with this, or do I frog it out and do something different? But it's going to be crochet. And then the rest of this, I'm going to hang in there. I lost a ball somewhere. So I'm going to finish this ball here on this and then finish up with this guy. So I don't think I'm going to add this to my new project. I'm just going to keep it all together and then just, yeah, add it together. But it's almost done. So hopefully I'll be able to show this to you, or most of it, by the end of April. Most of it. We shall see. We shall see. So this is one project. And I've got them all in my little project bags. These guys came in from WeCrochet. I love these bags. Let me tell you, it's so great. You just put the project right in there. It snaps up. Big fan. And they're strong snaps. And everything just stays. I keep my pattern in here. And so I've got 4 of these on the couch, and I just grab a bag, open it, and start working on it. So this is this one here from WeCrochet, my grab bag. All right. Next one. So going back to the whole thing about I bought more yarn and I probably shouldn't have. I'm making this project for my girlfriend and my WeCrochet bag. And y'all were like, not only do I think that you get a free pass, but I love the rosebud. So I took your advice and I'm making her this sweater in the rosebud. And the sweater is going to look like this. Now it's a little bit cropped, so I'm going to have to add something to the bottom to make it a little bit longer. Okay. But the rosebud that I'm using is by Lion's Brand. It's called Mako Cotton. It is 94% Mako cotton, 6% nylon. And I was a little concerned that it was going to kind of be pilly, but it's so soft. It is so soft. And it's not turning out to be pilly. These are the squares that I've done. You really have to block these things. They don't actually look like squares, but they will turn out to be squares when they're all done and said and done. They kind of look like circles, but I will block them and then they will turn into squares. Love these. Very, very soft. So this is what I'm making. Hopefully, I was hoping I could get like 4 or 5 squares out of each ball. I got 4 and a bit, almost 5, and I only have 6 balls. So I hope I will have enough. I can't find more yarn. Although if I am, the free pass was if you're buying it to give to somebody, then you should be able to get a free pass. So if I have to buy an extra ball, I got to buy an extra ball. What are you going to do? But this stuff here, Mako Cotton, I really, really like it. It's extremely soft. And I think it's relatively new from Lion Brand. So I will include the link if you're interested. It's a weight of a 4, whereas what I was originally using for this was a weight of a 2, so I had to double strand it. This I don't have to double strand, so that's working out nicely. And this color is called Rosebud. So here's another one that I'm doing. Snap it up. And it's great because like if you just want to have your yarns, like if you're doing a couple different yarns, different colors and things, you can just have them coming up through the snaps and then they don't get tangled. All right. So, because I was giving up on my big, I think the problem was I had a lot of big crochet projects, not little quickie fast things, big. And that's that duster. And I was like, I can't do this. So I decided to jump in. I am making the Brit a sweater. He's like, he thinks. He's trying to act excited. He's not very excited. Anyways, I am doing a HanJan pattern, herringbone moss stitch sweater. This came out maybe like a month ago or something like that. And I love it. And it's going very, very well. And so I basically can finish I'll show you what I'm using. I'm using the Swish. Now this is a worsted weight. I think she called for a DK weight. Yeah, she called for Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday DK, 100% acrylic. I am using a worsted weight. And it's nice. It's coming out really nice. And this is called Lost Lake Heather. And this is 100% fine superwash merino wool. It's really lovely. And the Brit picked out this color, so we better like it. So I have all of this in here. And I was starting out doing a project that was not working for me. It was an MJ Off the Hook design. No grief to her, but it was a cabled pattern thing. And I was like, no, can't do it. So I'm basically, this is what's left of that one. And I'm pulling it, I'm basically coming off of it and then adding it to this. So this is working out really nicely. I basically finished the yoke of the sweater and it's just a top down, like a raglan style. And then I think at the end you add on the collar. But it's going along very nicely. Very, very nicely. I even put on the Brit last night and he's like, oh, it looked good and it's very soft. So I'm working on this guy. This is my next crochet project. And like I said, it is going faster. Now this is a unisex pattern and the sizes go from like extra small to 5XL. Right down here it tells you. So you can see she's wearing it and he's wearing it. So I might end up loving it, making one for myself. Maybe I can make it in my alpaca, upcycled alpaca blend. And then I will love the yarn as well. This is another, I don't have any more of my project bags, but this is this. All right, so this one's done. Well, working on it. And then the other thing, I have this yarn that I love. And it is from Universal Yarns and it's called Bamboo Blooms Hand Paints. Have you guys seen this? Love it. Now, originally I had it in this guy, and this is called Koi Pond, I think it's called. I think it was called Koi Pond. I was right. It was Koi Pond. And I bought 2 skeins of it. That's all they had. And I loved it. I was like, I want to make something out of this. So I have the 2 skeins. Had it for a really long time. Don't know what to do with it. I might actually, this would be great to weave something with. I could definitely use this in the weft to weave something. It would be gorgeous. Gorgeous, I tell you. Well, then I found that they had the Bamboo Bloom and they had it on sale. I think I had it in a bulk buy. And this is called Emperor or something. It is called, yes, Emperor. I should just trust my own brain. Emperor. Liked it. Didn't like it as much as my Koi, but I'm actually liking it more. And I've been waiting for the perfect pattern for it. Well, that perfect pattern just showed up on the Universal site. And I think it was even a free pattern. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm loving it. So I decided to make it. It is this fitted tee, this guy here. And the shaping is lovely. And I was like, that's actually cute. And it is called the Spring Pullover. Now, it calls for me, I'm doing a medium. It calls for 4 hanks of this yarn. They use something called reflecting pool. But I was like, that's okay. I thought I had just had the 4 hanks of this Bamboo Bloom. And I was very excited. I'm like, I have exactly what I need. Well, turns out I had more than 4. Turns out I was doing a little bit of going through my stash this morning. And it turns out that not only do I have these 4, because one's almost done, but I found another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was like, what? Oh, man. So I could have made something bigger. And it's all Emperor. So I'm not really sure. But the funny thing is that I don't actually really I didn't think I liked this one as much as I like the Koi Pond. So now I've got 10 total, like another 6 of this stuff. Like, what am I going to do now? I mean, it's not a bad problem to have, right? I was actually wondering if I could like do a stripe of these two. I don't know. But anyway, so here's what I'm doing now. So this is knit, but it's working up very, very, very fast. And I'm loving how the colors are transitioning. Isn't that cool? So with the different, because it's considered a bulky, but when it gets down here, it's kind of fine. And then it rolls into, so I'm making this the spring t-shirt. You know, who knows? I guess I could stripe it, or I could just maybe I could just weave this and then find something else to do with the other 6 that I've got. Maybe I just add on the sleeves. Maybe make a nice, maybe I could do that. That's going to be the same thing. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. I don't know. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned to see what I'm really going to do. But this is really working out very fast, and I love it. Maybe I could even make a cardigan to go over it. That's not a bad idea. I don't know. Anyways, but this one will be done relatively quickly. So when I just need something to work on fast, I just do this. And it's, for the most part, it's just stocking net back and forth. I think that there's a little something fancy that you do up at the yoke at the top. I don't think it's that. It's a double eyelet. So that doesn't seem too difficult. But so stay tuned. You'll get to see what's happening with this guy here. So that was a little bit of a fail, only because I thought I was like, yes, I have the perfect yarn. I got the perfect amount. And I love when plans happen. And then it didn't happen because turns out I had 6 more skeins than I thought. So I thought I had 4. I needed 4. Turns out I had 10. Yeah, well, anyways, but I do love the yarn. Really, 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 really love it. And I'm thinking that this guy here, I think it might have to be woven. So if you're into weaving at all, and I'm going to do a couple more videos on weaving. I really encourage you to check out, there is a Facebook group called Rigid Heddle Weavers, I think it is. I joined them, and there's a woman on there. Well, actually pretty much all of them, but there's one specifically who's using just like regular, she's using Lion Brand mandala cakes and Karen cakes and making the most gorgeous wraps I have ever seen. And I'm like, oh, I love what she's doing. So, and that's all on a rigid heddle loom using like a 7.5 inch dent. And I have a 10 inch dent, a 12 inch dent, and I have a variable. So I could do that. But this actually could be beautiful with that. Maybe that's what I'll end up doing. And just using like one of my Lion Brand things or something along those lines, or I have some colors very similar to this for the warp and using this for the weft. Anyways, all right, so this was a little bit of a one more thing I did make on the drive up to Long Beach to get on the cruise ship. I had a ball of random yarn that was just wooled, and I made myself a water bottle holder, and I just literally crocheted this here in the circle. I just did a crochet in the round, and then I just single crocheted it all the way up and around. So I finished that, and then I put it in the wash to kind of give it a little bit of I crocheted it and I felted it. I felted it, people. That's what I was doing. Although I didn't want to go down much more, so it's felted a little bit, but you can still see the stitches. If you really do a true felt, you can't actually see the stitches, but that's okay. I liked it. And it saved my water bottle from getting banged up. All right, well, there you go. Well, stay tuned. I'm going to have some more videos coming up this week, including things that you can do for spring. I'm going to do my spring special with some new spring hooks, some new spring yarn that just came out, and yeah, and fun stuff like that. So stay tuned. But hey, listen, if you have just joined me, thank you so much for finding me and subscribing to my channel. We just hit a huge milestone, people. We just hit 5,000. This is no reason for a screaming go. That's like an exciting thing. We just crossed over the 5,000 people threshold. So welcome, 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 all 5,000 of you. I'm so glad that you're here. Please keep joining. And I'm going to start a new tutorial really like back to basics, back to basics. So this is probably not going to speak to a lot of you, but if you know somebody who's like, I just want to learn how to crochet, please send them my way, because I'm going to start doing from like single crochets through doubles and half doubles and all the way through. And so that's going to be really fun and basic as well. Plus I've got a bunch of other cool things to do. So thanks so much for joining. Thanks for subscribing. Hang in there. Thanks for enjoying your cup with me. If I didn't tell you ahead of time, you should have grabbed a cup for this one because we were sitting here for a while. My coffee's almost cold. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.